2019's Jojo Rabbit, a young boy in Hitler's army finds out his mother is hiding a Jewish girl in their home. Based on the novel by Christine Lunens, directed and written by Taika Waititi. Welcome once again to the American Recut. It's spoiler-free.
Yep, spoiler-free. I'm Brendan.
I'm Nick.
Alright, and tonight's movie is The Elusive Jojo Rabbit. And
this was a hard one to find showings for sure. It's got a very limited release right now.
Yeah, we had to go out of our way to go to different theaters to see this, but it was well worth it. So let's delve into the story.
So this story is one that we have seen sometimes with these stories that kind of take place in World War II, Nazi Germany, where we follow a young Nazi boy as he kind of grows up under Hitler in the later stages of the war, has to begin questioning his beliefs, and we start the story at one of the more desperate points for the German war efforts.
Right.
As far as the story goes, I found that it worked fairly well. It had some minor hiccups here and there, but they weren't enough to dissuade me from the movie or even really point them out until if I'm getting to nitpicky stuff. But I found that the story worked quite well.
Oh yeah, the story was very nice. Like Nick said, we've seen some of these stories before in other World War II movies, but this one was a little charming within itself, through the eyes of a child.
It does get a little dark in later stages, but that's to be expected with a movie like this.
That's true. While it does have its comedic elements, it is very tragic in others.
Characters. I generally found most of the characters in the movie to be pretty interesting, pretty good characters who all had a little bit of depth to them. There's one or two I'll get into later who I found to be a little bit odd or a little bit not quite optimal, but I generally found the characters in this to be charming and able to carry the story well.
Right, no, they're well put. They are very charming. There's not a whole bunch of characters, but it
is a really tight story. Yeah, it's got very tight quarters that it takes place in.
Some I respect. Beyond that, I don't have much else to say about the characters currently. I'll delve more into that in the ramble on. That being said, let's go on to effects.
All you?
All right, effects. Pretty standard effects. Good camera angles. Good. A little bit of CGI here or there with Hitler.
Hitler wasn't really... Well, okay, there were some moments that were definitely CG involving him. And there are some places where it's used pretty tactfully, I'd say. The occasional explosion, the occasional moment of, showing bullet wounds, what have you.
Yeah.
But I think that the effects of this movie were... It's the classic saying where if you don't notice it, it's good. So,
yes.
Broadly speaking, both the practical effects and CG were both very, very good. They were used tactfully.
Very much so. Great costumes, good music. But beyond that, it just focuses solely on the story itself. Not a whole lot of bedazzling going on in this film.
There's a moment or two where it indulges itself, but I think talking about the music as well, there are some nice touches with the music and the things they do with the music in this movie. I did appreciate that.
Yeah, same. And then
themes.
The bigger aspect of this film that I would kind of like to delve more into myself. Themes. There are a lot of themes in this film. It's, like I said, a coming-of-age film where a boy, has to kind of learn the hard way of what it means to fall in with the wrong crowd, and especially in this film, in more ways than one, this crowd is very wrong.
Yes, the coming-of-age story taking place in Nazi Germany. There are a lot of interesting things that come up just from the premise alone.
Right.
And the movie gets into a lot of that, not necessarily guiding you where you need to go, but it's usually a decently satisfying payoff for the most part.
Right. And there's other themes as well, the potency of fanaticism and what have you, and,
A lot of it revolves around the idea of just being a young boy in Nazi Germany who just wants to be part of the group of boys who are wearing colorful uniforms and using fun stuff in the woods.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Beyond that, I don't have much else to contribute to this film. How about you?
Without getting into spoilers, I don't have much more. I want to just get into the recommendation, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yes, let's proceed with that. I highly recommend this film. It's cute, it's funny, it's tragic. It's a very entertaining film to hunt for.
I do also recommend this movie if you can find a showing for it. It is on a limited release. Taika Waititi does have a history of pretty good films, and this is another one that is a strong film. I think that there are some minor places where there can be improvements, which I'll get into later, but I think that it is overall a strong film.
Yeah, very strong film. All right, now let's segue to the ramble on.
Yep, join us in the next video.